quick question. What is the most important component on a mountain bike? Some people think it's a suspension fork, dropper post, things like that. I actually think it's your tyres, because when you think about it, they're the only thing in contact with the ground. Fit a good set of tyres and you'll simply be able to ride harder and faster, and that'll boost confidence and, more importantly, enjoyment. Compared to those other components, tyres are also relatively inexpensive, so about 40 to 50 pounds you can get a top of the range mountain bike tyre. Before I get into what makes a really good trail tyre, first I'm going to go over some of the terminology. Tyres come in 3 diameters, 26, 27.5 and 29. What I have in front of me is a 27.5 and a 29er. They're the most common sizes used today. Tyres are also measured in width, and that can be anything from 1.6 to 2.5. But to complicate matters further, we also see plus tyres, and they can be 2.6, 2.8 or 3 inches. To keep things simple though, I'm only going to focus on standard size tyres for this buyer's guide. The first bit of the tyre we're going to look at is the bead. The bead is the bit of the tyre that sits on the rim. It's made from either steel or Kevlar. Kevlar is lightweight and foldable, which is why some tyres are described as having a folding bead. Kevlar is expensive though, and tyres with Kevlar beads are often double the price of those with steel beads. The bead forms part of the casing or carcass. This is the body of the tyre, and it's made from a nylon material, either as a single layer folded over several times, or multiple layers, also known as plies, that are laid over one another. If we look at XC tyres at one end and DH at the other, XC tyres are made using a thinner, lighter layers for faster rolling and quicker acceleration. DH tyres are thicker and heavier for greater stability and protection. Trail tyres fall somewhere between the two. Some tyres also get extra reinforcement on the sidewall to stop abrasion and cuts. The tread is the business end of the tyre. This is made of a collection of knobs, which are basically just lumps of rubber. In the centre, we obviously have the centre knobs, and on the edge we have the edge knobs. Some people also talk about transitional knobs, which offer support when you're going from the vertical to cranked over. If we look closely at the knob profile, there are a couple of things tyre manufacturers do to help performance. The leading edge of some knobs is often chamfered or angled, which helps reduce rolling resistance. Some of the knobs also feature sipes, which are little slits cut into the surface of the knob that help it deform and increase grip and traction. There are all sorts of tread designs used on mountain bike tyres. Is there a best one? I've tested a lot of different tyres over the years, and generally it pays to keep things simple. Square knobs in a basic grid pattern. The thing we can't see on a mountain bike tyre is a rubber compound, but we can measure it. And in the industry, we use a measure of hardness called Durometer. This is represented by a number. The higher the number signifies a firmer compound. So for example, 68 is harder than 58. The thing to bear in mind is, Durometer is only a guideline. Not all 68 tyres roll or grip the same, but it is fair to say that a softer Durometer tyre does wear faster than a harder one. The last thing I'm going to mention is air pressure. Different tyres require different air pressures, but as a general rule of thumb, the thicker the casing and heavier the tyre, the lower the air pressure you can get away with. If you're using a 2.3 inch tyre or bigger, we wouldn't run any more than about 28 to 30 psi. When you go out and buy your first set of mountain bike tyres, it's important to remember that the front and rear tyres do different jobs. The front tyre is the most important because it offers grip when cornering. It is responsible for directional stability. You want it to track in a straight line, but if it doesn't hold when you're slamming into a hard turn, then this can have a big effect on your ability to stay upright. The rear tyre is all about speeding up and slowing down. When you press on the pedals, all your effort is going through the rear tyre, so you want it to accelerate quickly and then hold its speed when cruising along. Then when you slam on the brakes, you want enough braking traction to slow you down. A good compromise is to use a semi-slick on the rear. This has a faster rolling, lower profile centre strip, but with enough meat so it bites when you're slamming on the anchors. There's also pronounced edge blocks for lent over grip on off camber or loose surfaces. So this is a good combo. Knobbly front, semi-slick rear. Most manufacturers also make the tyres in different compounds, so to eke out a bit more performance, I'd go with a softer front tyre, harder wearing rear. Rear braking destroys tyres, so it makes sense to have the harder wearing compound on the rear wheel.